I'm Nick.
And we are NV Board Gaming. And today we're looking at Coimbra. This is a 2 to 4 player game. It is published by Eggert Spiel and designed by Virginio Gisli and Flaminia Brasini. Nick is going to give an overview of how you play, and then we're going to give our review.
Hey everyone, welcome to the table. We are set up here for a 2-player game of Coimbra. The setup does change for a 2-player game. We have some dummy dice out here that will not change round to round. We're also going to have some starter cards right here, and they'll have this level 1 right on the back, so you know those are the starter cards. So to start this game, we picked the turn order, so we already did that. Red is going to go first. And that means that blue will have dibs on either which pair they would like or where they would like to start. There's 4 corners here, so it kind of decide where they want to go on this road out here and give different bonuses. So blue player can select one of the corners, and then in turn, the red now gets the first choice of cards. Let's say they take these cards. Right away, they're going to get the bonuses on right there. So you're going to get 1 on the green chart here. That's the red player. They're going to move up that track, and they're also going to get 1 on the gray chart as well for guard. Oops, I moved blue. Red is with that. They're also going to get some C actions here, so they can tuck that under their board. I'm going to go ahead and clear that out so you can see the board. There's a nice handy flow chart of what's happening, and they can go ahead and tuck card under the C actions here to remind them when it is when it's on that phase, they can go ahead and trigger those effects. We start out with 7 guard and 7 coins, which is measured on your board as well. You can see there's numbers here. Guard has the shield, and coins, of course, has a coin. So we start out with 7 each. Go ahead and mark that with these. There's no actual physical coins in this game. And then the red was going to go ahead and pick of the 3 remaining spots where they would like to be. So again, that just heads out on the road in certain directions. So you're going to see these tiles out here do different things. This might move you up in the green right here for the books. And different things right there. You're going to mark them when you take them. Whenever you move there, you're going to go ahead and mark with one of your tokens to show that you've gotten that reward. So we have this all set up already. These have the phase 2 on them. These were all set up for in each row. And you're going to have some crowns out here to determine this first player. I'm not going to go over every single rule, but from this point on, we are going to go ahead and roll some dice. That is phase A, is to roll dice. Now, phase B, first player is going to go, so red player is going to go ahead and take one of these dice. So let's say they take that, and they will then assign where they would like to go. What they're doing here is they're looking at what cards they might want, but keep in mind, these people are going to pick before them. So maybe they want this last card, so they feel like they're okay, they're safe right there. Next player is going to go ahead and pick, and we're going to keep doing this and assigning until there's 1 left, because we all have 3 actions. So let's just go ahead and assign these real quick. Doesn't matter, I'm not following the order, just kind of want to show you how it plays. That's good. And we can go ahead and go here. And let's do that. All right. Let me set these in the way. So again, they had stuff too, obviously. They had move up the tracks on these cards as well. They had an immediate action, so this lightning bolt here means they immediately get these things. That's 1 guard, that's 1 movement on this here. Not going to do that, but just so you know what they are. These diplomas also have meaning. I'll go over that at the end of the game. End game scoring, I should say. But these are all lightning bolts, so they get filed into the lightning bolts. There's little spots for everything here. Okay, so this first action spot up here is actually in reverse order of everything else down here. This just gives you a bonus for that round. So for instance, just one example, easiest one to explain is a lightning bolt here. You get right away, you get 7 guard or 6 coins, or 7 coins, sorry. Either one, your pick. So if I were to pick that one, it would go to the blue player. So okay, the blue player picked that. They don't have to pay anything here. This is the only time they don't have to pay anything, is this spot right here. It's totally different. So your choice is to either get the action or take 2 coins and 2 guard. And it shows that right on here. Either take the action or get this. Most of the time you're going to take the action. Then they'll take this back. So the blue player takes this back. Now here, in the 2-player game, we have a dummy player here. So they take the first available. So that is off the board. And now red player goes. Let's say they want this card. They are going to pay 3 of whatever currency is here. So in this case, coins, not guard. So they'll move down 3 coins. Puts them at 4. And they'll get this card, which, as you know, moves up on the coin track 2. So red will move up 2. And they will get these immediate actions. 2 guard and move 2 on the board. So 2 guard means they're going to go ahead and take the 2 guard on their board. Okay, so red is taking 2 guard on their board. It went from 4 to 6. And then we tuck this away because these were immediate actions. So this 2 movement, they're just going to move. There's little circles on the board that they can move to. 1, 2. So they will go ahead and take this action, which is immediately 3 coins. So they'll put their marker out there and move 3 coins on their board. Now, let's just skip through. Let's see what it would be. Let's say the board was like this. Hypothetical. We have some crowns here. So if blue player wanted to buy this, because the first player right here is the 4, so that's gone. And normally, honestly, you would be behind that, but we're doing a hypothetical, like I said. So they're going to take these crowns too, along with this card. They're going to have to pay the 3 guard as well to move up 3 on the green track and get an E action, which will allow them to move 1 spot for every purple die they drafted on the E phase. So they also got these. So what that is on a certain phase here. Let's look at a board here. So if we go through the phases, we saw the die roll, we saw placing and gathering a die and then placing it out. Now we're gonna go ahead and take these. Let's say this round's over. We take these and we can trigger some of these over here. So whites are wild. So let's say they did a green. This is victory points. Greens are victory points. Purple's movement. Yellow/gold is coins. And gray is guard. So it just triggers wherever you are on this right here. Wherever your position is, you're going to go ahead and get that resource, how many ever you're there, based on this. So in this case, victory points. If blue player was all the way up here, there's a 5 victory point mark right here. So they will get 5 victory points for triggering a green while they were in this 5 area. And that's going to be the same thing with all these. So that is the phase right there. That would be actually the E phase is when you go ahead and do that. C is just collecting. So this is the phase I want to get to. D, the D phase is where you do turn order. So you can see the crowns right there. So whoever has the most crowns in that round will be the first player and going down the line based on that. So whoever gathered, so you see there's crowns here on these that come out, and there's crowns on these actions over here. You can see them at the bottom. And there's also crowns on the turn order. So if you were, let's say you're in a 4-player game, you were the last player, you automatically get 2 crowns to start the round. Then you go ahead and collect everything as I showed with these tracks over here. There'll also be cards that could have E effects, that like the one I already showed you, which was this one right here, and has an E effect on it. Then you're going to go ahead for the F phase and do voyages. So you can spend currency, you can spend either coins or guard, and it shows how much. So for instance, let's take, what's the easy one? Here we go. So this one's a guard, and it shows the number 6. So for 6 guard in phase F, you can spend 6 guard to get two VP for each of the coin cards you have in your possession at that point in time. At that point being at the very end. This is all end game scoring. So anything that doesn't have a lightning bolt pretty much is going to be end game unless it has a phase. So you'll see most of these have lightning bolts on them on the board. But right here, voyages, all at the end of the game. How many ever coin cards you have, you get 2 times that if you were to put that. So you're going to mark that. If you were to spend the 6 guard as a red player, you're going to go ahead and mark that to show that, yes, you invested in that voyage. The next thing is just going to be the end of the round. So we're going to reset this board. 4 more will come out. You're going to keep doing that until you're out of the cards here. And end game scoring. We'll go over end game scoring. The first thing you're going to do is the voyages. You're going to see everything that you have marked off and your opponent, and you're going to get victory points based on how you did on these objectives here. Then you're going to go ahead and see how far you did up this track. So this will change based on player count, but for a 2-player game, it is whoever's in first gets this amount of victory points, and these all are different. So you can look, these were put out randomly. So you can see that these are all different amount of victory points for first place. If you're second place, you only get second place bonus if you're within 3 of your opponent, 3 spaces on the track, any given track. Then you'll get the second place bonus. If you're not, you'll get nothing. But you can see in a 4-player game that does change. We do actually score second and third. But in a 2-player game, you don't get second place unless you're within 3. So you'll do that scoring. You'll do scoring for diplomas. So you can see these little certificate-looking things over here. And there's a set of 5. They're different colors. If you have sets of that, you'll get a certain amount of victory points. If you have all 5 different ones, then that's 12 victory points, for instance. You'll get points for little triggers that have exclamation points on your board. You can see there are things to file under exclamation points. So those are end game scoring. So here is one right here. Based on how well you did in the books, in the green, you're going to get victory points end of the game, depending on where you are on this over here, on this grid. So that is victory points for that. You're also at the very end, you're going to add up your crowns that you had in that last round, your coins and your guard, and divide by 2. And that is also how many victory points you're going to get for those resources. And that will, whoever has the most is going to win. That's how you play. Hey everyone, welcome back for our review of Coimbra. This one, dice worker placement, hit or miss for me. A lot of games that I really do like, but there are some that are misses. I didn't really care for like Kingsburg. I don't know. It didn't work for me. That's one that I think that sprang to mind because a lot of people do like that. I didn't really care for it. This one, I do care for. It is an 8-2. So strong score, great decisions, and you hear me say that a lot. Great decisions. I like how when you're placing dice out, you really have to decide what's more important to you, going first or spending less. I tend to spend less, and it hurt me this time. Vic actually won this time we played, and a lot of it because I think she did take a lot of the cards over and over again. She kept taking cards that I wanted. She would actually bet first and take the last card multiple times. It's like you could have just did 1 and got that card, or 2.
Big spender.
But she spent 6 and got the last card that I thought I was gonna get that card. I was actually planning on it because if you watch the overview, you know that we were playing 2-player games, so there's dummy players out there. So if I put a 1 late, because I don't want to get bought out, I don't want to go at the very end where there's only 4 cards and everyone's ahead of me and I don't get anything. Mm-hmm. Or I actually would. I would get the 2 coin and 2 guard, but I wouldn't get a card. So if I get to go, I'm expecting to get that last card because everyone before me, those 2 dummy players, are going to take the cards before me. I'm going to get the very last one. Well, Vic would take the last one multiple times, which I didn't know that she would do that. So I was like, wow, I did not expect that. Anyway, I like that decision. I like how the cost benefit of playing a high number and getting exactly what you want, or playing a low number and hoping to get the scraps if they're left for you. I think that's awesome. I think the movement is superior to Marco Polo, a game that this should be compared to. If it's not, I think I've seen that compared. I like how the movement on the board is better. I don't have to stop at the monasteries. I can just keep moving through. Unlike Marco Polo, where you have to go here, stop. That's your turn. Even Newton suffered from that a little bit, I believe.
Yeah.
I like how I can just move through, collect my reward, and keep going. I do like that. It just feels better. So there's a lot to like. So I guess I should say negative. Why wasn't it a higher 8? Well, it is a short game. I kind of wanted to last longer. It is a card game it's like card driven in a lot of ways, and also like these voyages I think are a little weak. The way you get them is just spending the money and go ahead and do that. It feels like it's lacking. It's okay. It just feels like it's lacking. It could have been better. I don't know what. Like I should offer a suggestion of what you should do better. All I can say is it feels like it was pasted on. And it just doesn't quite do what the rest of the game does. So that's all. What do you got, Vic?
I gave it an 8.4. Close. No cigar, though. Not the same. All the reasons that Nick said. I like that you are able to move and there's no cost as you move your guy around the map and on the voyages or I guess they're not voyages, those are voyage cards. When you move around...
Pilgrims, yeah, just go.
Yeah, you just move. There's no like, oh, you gotta pay 4 coins because you moved here, and that's what Newton has. It's gonna be pretty crippling to be like, oh, I only have 2 coins, and I now have to pay 3 coins to move here. So in this one, you can just move people around, and sometimes, it's really fun when you get a card, and it's, oh, you can do the purple action, or you can do... Oh, great. So now you get to move extra maybe in that turn because you have a purple dice coming up. So it's interesting. And the white dice being wild is interesting as well because then you can think of what do you want to add. The scoring cards are neat. I like that you can choose how you want to score at the end of the game as a bonus. Like, oh, if you get this many moves up on the gray track, you're going to get this many points. So it's something for you to aim for. It gives you kind of a goal, but you don't necessarily have to take one. As Nick mentioned, with a lot of choices, you're not forced to do something you don't necessarily want to do. And the fact that the end of the game scoring for the tracks changes. It's not always the same. So you look at the onset and go, do I want go for the one with the highest point value? Is my opponent going to be catching up with me? Because there is, with the 2-player, there's a 3-point difference so that if you're 3 or more back in the track, there's a separation, that person doesn't get the second place points. So towards the end of the game, you're thinking, how do I get that separation? How do I move away from this guy? Usually, and so that's fun. I think it's a good thing to add, and it gives you something to think about. I like the choices. I think that there's a lot that you can consider. Different ways to score. You're always looking at the bottom of the cards that you're picking and going, oh, what is that gonna do? What does this do? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, this scores me for how many orange cards I have. And then the C actions are cool too. To be able to have something that your opponent doesn't have, right before you resolve your dice and get those actions, it's nice that you can choose to stack those up as well. And of course, the medals, the ribbons that I finally got a set of. I usually mess that up. I don't pay attention to little medals. Yep. And this time I did, and I was able to get some great points at the end of the game for that. So that's cool.
The game forces you to think in a lot of regards because now you want to think, you have all these cards in your tableau. Now this triggers off if I get a coin card. Do I want that coin card? Because I was going to go for that. Well, that's going to move me up this track. And I really want to move up that track. Well, I really want to move this turn. So I'm going to take this, it's crunchy. For what you see, it actually is pretty crunchy because you have so many decisions you can make here. Do I really want that purple die? Because now I can move and I really want that tile. But I also have these cards that really work well with the green track and so forth. And it really is like, man, what do I do? Do I want to spend this much money to go here and get that card? Everything. Do I need the crowns? Is the crowns going to be very important this turn?
Yeah, the crowns, yeah.
Wow.
And the scoring bonuses as well. Like, okay, I had a card that gave me a value of 1 victory point for every 1 and 2 level influence on the character card. So now I'm like, oh, but I want those 4s. I want the 4s and 3s, but I'm getting points on the 1s and 2s. Do I forfeit that, which is the value in the top of the card on the track? I want to move on the track. What do I do? So I like that. I like having that kind of crossroads that you got to go through many roads. Yeah.
Good scores from us.
Yeah. Altogether, we recommend it. Give it a try. Definitely would buy it. Just go out and buy it. I don't know what the cost is, but It's worth every penny to me. Thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that you have a good one and that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Bye-bye.